If you're having issues funding your music projects, you're not the only one, and you're definitely not the last. But today, I'm going to break down the LaRussell Stock method and explain how this high-level crowdfunding method in disguise can actually work for you, and show you how you can use this method to fund your projects. Currently, you've probably asked family and friends for donations, and maybe even you've gotten access to my funding partners in the community or in the 60-day record label program and received funding there. But somehow it's still not enough. Like, it's frustrating that it requires so much to fund your project. Well, welcome to Business 101, but this is just the price you pay to be a musical influencer, whereas other types of influencers can just, grab a camera and get started. You can't. So the lack of money is causing you to miss out on producing a quality product. But to be honest, it's not working for you because you're not being as resourceful as you can actually be with funding opportunities for your project. Let's just call it what it is. When you don't have money, you partner. Don't be selfish. 100% of nothing is nothing. Don't be selfish. Now, this concept is not new by a long shot, and in fact, it's what the music business thrives on. I used to watch a lot of Shark Tank episodes, and I wondered why artists couldn't do the same thing until I realized that they actually do. It's actually done at the record labels in their deals, specifically the licensing deals. But the difference is, how could you do this independently, get the money without a bank, and then maintain your operation yourself and pay out your investors? The truth is you can, and it's called angel investing, but we'll call it private crowdfunding for simplicity today, because I don't want you to dig into that, right? You have to do this manually. You have to until you get up to a royalty exchange level, right? That's another platform. You see, it's simply a record label licensing deal in reverse. Instead of the record labels investing in your masters and holding them hostage until you pay off your investment, you actually get to keep your masters in possession and pay off your investors. Now, I know this because back in the NFT craze 3 years ago, I posted a few videos that broke this concept down over time, right? Including one called, "Is the Little Pump Mona Lisa NFT Deal a Bad Deal?" with Opulous and Ditto music, which explained this concept, but it was using blockchain. The same thing. I also showed you how to evaluate your music for investors and NFTs, and how to pitch music to investors and NFT investors. And if we speed it up to last year, I made a video called "Drake Has Over 20 LLCs and Corporations. Here's why." And at the 1150 mark, I explained how Drake can sell stock in the company or his corporations. Boom, there you have it. Getting investment from fans and even friends and family in this way is an incredible, revolutionary way to do it. But you must be extremely responsible and accurate with your reporting and your payouts. I'm so serious. If you're gonna do this, you have to be on point with it. Because if not, all hell can break loose really fast. In a handbasket, in a Ferrari going down. And you need a company to do business with to make this work. So now you may be excited right now and you feel like, hey, I can start doing this without a company. But let me slow you down. Let me slow you down real quick, because you're going to need at least an LLC for this method of funding. You don't want to dive into these waters without a life jacket. Without this company, even a lawyer wouldn't suggest you do a funding deal like this, right? You're going to need security in place while you're taking investments from people. Just in case somebody gets disgruntled with the process, we don't want them coming after you. We want them coming after the company. We don't want that either, but I'm just saying, even if you don't set up an LLC using my method, which I recommend you do, then take this step for your personal security at least. Because at this point, you don't need a 380 anymore. You need everything in a Kalishnikov family and the family themselves. Adding this to your arsenal opens up your opportunity by nearly 50% simply by just having it. That's the power of an LLC. But then once we get that security down and in place, then we got to decide on a percentage to retain. Because now that you got the LLC up, you're going to have to put on your big boy or your big girl pants and part ways with the ownership shares in your album. However, you can keep your ownership if you'd like to do a revenue share of the album as well. But still, you're going to have to part ways with the one thing that you like to keep in order to get money, and that is shares in the project. So just shift your mindset from filling your pockets to growing your brand for bigger opportunities, because that's why you need this money. And that's the type of mindset that this funding option takes. That's probably why you may be stuck on the idea that this won't work, but it does. So once you become comfortable with this decision and this mindset shift, doors to your future will open like never before. I can guarantee it, man. But then we got to evaluate your album and we have to price those suckers. Well, the shares, right? So next you'll want to evaluate the album and price the shares accordingly. Now, to be frank, you may believe that your album is worth nothing because nobody knows you. And then for the overly optimistic people, you may think your album is worth $1 million. And that's great for optimism, but not for your investors. You see, investors part with money logically more than emotionally. So they're going to perceive the value of your shares as they are and as you are. However, we're seeking $100 per 1% share minimum, and you can go up from there. And this makes your album worth $10,000. This is if you're starting from zero, but I bet you can see the picture coming together now. Deciding on a share price makes the goal appear in your crosshairs, and now you can feel the power of this coming to life. Now, I feel you, but you can't forget what's coming next. Many artists may think that they can run off with the money. I'm talking to you, but the biggest mistake that you can make is not understanding that these people will be lifetime shareholders, according to your deal, which means that they can get added to the copyright registration unless they are royalty shareholders in your deal and you retain all ownership. However, you can't skip this step. This misunderstanding comes from a lack of knowledge about how this industry actually works. And if you run off on your plugs, your brand image will go down the toilet and it may be a long road to fish it back out. On top of that, a court order may be headed your way to remedy the problems that you've caused. Matter of fact, I'm not going to say may. This is going to happen. Now, you're going to need an attorney to craft this deal and the contracts that go with it. No doubt about that. And you'll need in-house royalty administration, you will as well. Lastly, you're going to have to totally be honest with yourself about how you're servicing your investors and what running off on the plug will do to you legally and image-wise. Again, this is a genius way to raise money for your projects before or even after your release, but do it responsibly. But if you're ready to take a step like this, it will fund your business very quickly and put you ahead of the game in terms of what's possible, especially in the D2C shift, right? You get to remove all the limitations the industry places on independent artists, and you'll have a chance to live to fight another day with extreme power and financial backing, right? Everyone can do this. I just want to be clear, everyone can do it. Even if you've never released a project, you can do this. If you're afraid to take this step, it's okay, but you can't unsee and unhear this option after watching this video. You know it's a possibility, and I want to help you with the first step so you can secure your foundation to make this deal and grab some extra funding while you're at it, okay? So now we can have bank funding and you can have third-party funding, plus you can have your savings. So here's what you can do, because I don't want you to hope, because that pushes action further into the future. So are you an action taker or are you a hoper and a wisher? It's my question to you. Because if you're an action taker, then jump into the 60-day record label program to build your personal record label just for you. This way you can secure funding from our partners and build the foundation to secure funding in a deal just like LaRussell's. Now, if you've got a message and a passion to share with the world, why stop it in its tracks? Click the link beneath this video and I'll see you on the inside of that. Now, there are other things to consider, like in-house royalty administration, if you know how to do it or your crew does, right? Payout methods such as ACH, your offer and proposal, and further defining where the royalty stream will come from, whether it's D2C only, streaming only, merch only, or all of the above. This is what creative funding is all about. Keep your mind open to all the possibilities at hand, because it's natural to feel apprehensive about trying something new, especially when the stakes are high. So take some time to map out your offer, like the percentage that we talked about, and how much you want and what ownership you're comfortable with giving away or not, and what revenue streams you're going to pull these revenue shares from to ease your anxiety. Plus, remember, people may initially hesitate due to uncertainty or lack of understanding about this type of deal, but this is precisely why education and transparency are key. By clearly outlining the benefits and addressing their concerns up front, you can build trust and encourage participation in your investment opportunity. Now, this way, you'll feel confident moving forward, knowing that success is within reach, because every successful endeavor starts with a leap of faith combined with a solid strategy to back it up. So I recommend that you go back and watch all of the videos that I mentioned in the beginning of this video earlier. I want to save you from yourself, but I also want to educate you on this process, because if you go down this road yourself to save money, you're gonna have massive gaps. Trust me, this is not something a weekend warrior can do. You need help, whether it's from me and the 60-day record label, my funding partners, your crew of folks, your lawyer, and so forth. You will need counsel with this deal. But when it's done, nobody will be able to tell you anything, because not many artists get to the level of this type of funding. Like, it's usually those who are finished with their major label careers and know how to put out a successful album independently with private funding and investment. Like, they are doing this exact method. Again, this is nothing new. It's just most experienced people know how to do it, and they don't tell you the game. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if you were struggling with a creative way to fund your project from the ground up while keeping your independence, well, you now have the means to become the greatest financially savvy independent artist that maybe you've always wanted to be. Music money makers, if you make music, you should always make money. Log on to musicmoneymakeover.com, jump into the Music Money Makers community, grab the 60-day record label course, get some funding in there, like, comment, and share this video, subscribe to the channel, and guess what? I'll see you next time. Peace.